Before introducing the center, I'll give more personal words. It's true, I'm emotional because it's a culmination of hard work and energy. It's a result of dedication and effort, but also because it pretty much fulfills a personal quest, a bit of an ideal of applied research. To really know how to do, in quotation marks, real research, to concretely publish, to contribute to the state of the art, all while seeing beyond the methodologies, the code to use, to deploy. And the research center is sort of a response, at least from what I personally perceive, to that. So, taking a step back, what are the implications and significance of AI in the present day? For me, we are kind of at a turning point. I have been in the machine learning field for 10 years now, and we are definitely at a turning point where artificial intelligence today is easily performing well in the pure statistical sense. With a lot of different data structures, we have models that kind of plug and play can achieve a good level of accuracy. And I would say that is the kind of standard problem with AI. And this one, it is relatively affordable today. And that is why there is still a great deal of excitement surrounding AI, of course. On the other hand, indeed, there is a sense of fear or rejection that we observe, that I observe, that we can also observe at Artefact, and that we see particularly because there is not such a high level of adoption in terms of years. So we can have extreme examples. There still isn't a self-driving car on the street. There's really a rejection that, upon initial inspection, is primarily connected to this unmanageable black box aspect that individuals have regarding AI. And honestly, they're right, and that's where the Artefact Shopping Center comes in. We make it our mission to go and deliver this AI, in quotation marks, more likable, which means, in other words, building more trust around AI. Maybe 2024 will be the year of excitement. For me, I would say the year of trust, especially. The trust in these models can be quite scary. And on top of that, a little more concretely, what does it mean to do research on models to enrich trust? There are numerous cross-cutting questions that we need to address, provide, which we discover on all topics involving machine learning. One primary aspect is truly about control problems. I'm going to provide you with a concrete example. For instance, if you examine the fraud detection challenges in the banking or insurance sector, there is a genuine desire on one hand to incorporate the business rules that have been established for a considerable period of time into the models. And that's a tough question because actually, naturally, machine learning models, it's purely statistical. They're rules learned from data, and having to give hard rules, it's actually contradictory to the very ideology of machine learning, and that's a challenge. That's an example. Then there is, of course, transparency, the transparency of the models, which is really something that also depends on the user, which depends on the sector. So if I can give an example, for instance, when you look at the retail industry, one of the big phenomena that needs to be explained to category managers or demand planners is the products that will cannibalize each other or have a complementary effect in terms of sales. Another crucial point in machine learning models to also increase this confidence, and this is also at the societal level, is the issues of uncertainty and bias. Here, when examining the output distribution of models, we observe that bias in terms of discrimination exists. Multiple populations have different output scores, indicating discrimination against one population compared to others. And that is also some questions that we can truly enhance the models on and greatly improve to enhance the trust of the end user. And another thing, it's also about understanding this user. So now we're talking more about management science. It's about understanding the mechanisms because trust is not always tangible. Understanding the real levers we can work on, making a difference at the individual level, at the level of an organization, or at the societal level. So all these examples are also intended to demonstrate that these questions, they also arise when we talk about building trust, making AI more trustworthy. It also depends a lot on the user's input and interactions. And it depends on the sector, the core business, and the result is that's where artifact assembly is particularly relevant. So, like what we are proposing is to have this type of three-way logic for research, where you have got the artifact archer, the academics, and a partner company involved in the process of conducting research and collaborating on projects. And in this setup, the partner company brings precisely this business case, these issues, and I would say, of course, these data, as Vincent Luciani said, but I would say that the case, the business issue, precisely what is in this case or that case, the notion of explainability that the user expects or the notion of control that the user expects is really also one of the sources of inspiration. You have to understand that Artefact as a service company is pretty big and has access to a ton of clients and industries. It's even more rewarding to have this rich and cross-cutting aspect. And I would also say, as a service company, an important point is that we're not very picky about, how should I put it, sharing our know-how. Naturally, we have no shame and we share the know-how. I'd even say it's the heart of our job, it's our DNA. And when we say that for research, and it's important, it means we're totally cool with sharing it as open source, meaning sharing the code as open source, sharing the publications, and really contributing to the community. And that makes us highly compatible with the academic environment. And one final point is that we bring something valuable to the academic community as well. We share this data, we fund research, and it enables us to have a different, somewhat new connection to the business case, while still maintaining, in quotation marks, real published research that is grounded in evidence. And when we complete this triangle, in the end, what needs to be added is that for partner universities, it allows them to have, in fact, the certainty of having a research job that is based on use cases. I want to clarify that we do not share the data. The purpose is not to share the data in open source. No misunderstanding about that. But on the other hand, these data ensure that the methodologies, the models, are truly tested and validated on the company's data, so it is certain that the model will work. And if I may do a bit of advertising, if you're a company and this three-way setup resonates with you, if you have a use case that fits well and you're not too hesitant about open source, you can come and speak to me at the end. There are still partnership opportunities. That being said, we've already made quite a bit of progress since 2023. So here are the 7 theses. I won't go into too much detail since afterwards we have the 182nd thesis and the poster session. In short, as I was mentioning, there is a somewhat extensive aspect to it. We have a considerable number of topics encompassing various data structures, diverse questions, and also different potential applications. So we work, as Vincent mentioned, with Sorbonne University, CentraleSupélec. We have professors who work at INSEAD, CNRS, and École Polytechnique. The CP, of course, we collaborate with the leading researchers in their respective field, and it is truly a fortunate circumstance for us. And in order to provide clarification, each individual topic has undergone a process of iteration in order to refine and improve. In order to identify research questions that possess scientific value, have prospects for publication in the literature, and are also deemed valuable from a business perspective by Artefact, it is crucial to ensure their relevance in both academic and commercial contexts. So, you really have to iterate every time to figure out the intersection where Artefact knows we can bring in some data, relevant use cases, which will eventually lead to some valuable scientific publications.